Yes, I've been getting a lot of people asking me lately, not surprisingly, how do you stay genuinely positive, stroke optimistic at a time like this when we're, facing such potential catastrophe in the world and, on so many fronts at so many levels, dealing with, obviously the climate crisis and the ramifications of that, and then also the way that the whole kind of truth is up for grabs and in question, and everyone kind of feeling confused and nonplussed by the rapid change of the public conversation, of the collective conversation, of the actual principles underlying it, everything in question. So people feeling unsettled, should we say, insecure. And very easy at a time like this to get into a pessimistic, negative frame of mind. But what do we actually mean by being positive? Well, being positive does not mean being in denial of danger or being in denial of the possibilities of danger. What it means is vowing with yourself that you will optimize on every single moment that you have, that you will not waste a single moment feeling sorry for yourself, in indulging in gloom, being self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic in other words, and running horror movies in your head. The Being optimistic means that you're able to accommodate the potential for the worst and the best outcomes, while being in a state of what I would call intrinsic delight for being alive. It doesn't matter that you might only have 5 minutes left, but that 5 minutes is going to be amazing. There's no way you're going to let that 5 minutes be crap by getting into self-pity and gloom, doom and dread. So the way you do it, and this is how it's done, it's not an intellectual thing, because it all sounds good and sweet and all the rest. How do you actually do this? Well, you have a front part of you and you have a back part of you. You have your front brain, you have the back brain. The front brain is where you're telling yourself all the stories about life to make sense of it for yourself. The back brain is where you're just being. You're just a hunter-gatherer brain. You're just sitting, being. And you have to differentiate between the two. The front brain is where all the noise is going on and the reactions to that noise in the belly. And the back brain is where there's no noise going on. It's just pure consciousness. And down beneath that is just pure silence and strength. Now, if you shift yourself into your back rather than being in your front, you suddenly become silent and still. You're able to have perspective on everything. Firstly, and most importantly, on the reality that you are, I am, we all are just transient phenomena. None of us are going to be here forever. All of it is passing through, even the universe itself. And therefore, that nothing is really personal. It looks like that, but it's as personal as if a flower in the garden took themselves personally. They're just flowers. They're just beautiful flowers that come and go, as are we. And because we're transient, and because we're living in a time where this is becoming increasingly obvious, is the exact reason why we have to appreciate every single moment that we have here. And that means when you're feeling shit, which is going on in the front of you, you still feel the delight in being alive. When you're feeling afraid, which is going on in the front of you, you still feel the delight in being alive. When you look at the world and you surmise that, we're going to hell in a handcart, nonetheless, in that moment, you still feel the innate delight in just being alive. And that means it's not meant to be sweet. It's not meant to be pretty all the time. It's not about that. It can be ugly and horrible and disgusting even. And I talk from personal experience. at times where I've been in like in fights and stuff as a martial artist, a few times in my life where there has been a serious problem. I I found that to be, nonetheless, I was still delighting in the thrill of it all. I don't mean I want it. I don't want violence. Didn't want to be fighting, but the fact that that was happening and I was in it and I still in my back felt the delight in being alive. And actually, that tends to result in better outcomes for everybody anyway, because you're not filled with the hatred. You're not filled with the negativity. You're filled with love. And that, I guess, is really the next bit. Is when you're in your back, the heart in the front has to be open. This part of you has to remain soft and open so that your soul is available to the world. Keeping the heart open connects you to everybody at a soul level. And that's the other side of it, because when you feel connected to everyone at a soul level, you're inclined naturally to help people, to be of help, to be of service. And being of help, being of service, helping everyone around you stay strong and feel okay, that's what makes it all feel all right. That's like you're not wasting your time. The other thing is to remember that all of it, the world and everything going on in it, the universe, is one massive organism of which we're all parts. We're all kind of holographic expressions of it. And this organism of which we're all part is moving, it's doing its thing, it's dancing. And we have to acquiesce to that. We have to acquiesce to that. And in doing that, magically, we're then granted agency. We're able to intercede and put in our vote for what we want. And so even against all the odds right now, to intend for there to be a kind of miraculous quantum turnaround of conditions that somehow or other, in some unforeseen way, manage to keep things balanced so that the experiment on all fronts can continue for a good while longer. That's my vote. Let's continue this for a good while longer, because it's brilliant. It's amazing. And people just don't realise how amazing this is. We must appreciate every moment of it and love it. Because if the worst comes to the worst and it's all just going to go up in the flames or under the water at a certain point in time, you don't want to have wasted any of it not enjoying it. No, you're gonna feel much better, I suspect, having appreciated everything along the way. You won't feel that you were, you sold yourself short. But let's not assume that. Let's be hopeful and assume that things will happen that will somehow turn everything around, because it could happen. It could happen. But let's keep it in mind. And I hope this is somehow edifying for you. As you can tell, I don't prepare. I hardly think about these before I do it, because it's the stuff I'm thinking about all the time. It's like I'm having this conversation with myself constantly. The existential conversation, I'm sharing it with you. Bear with my lack of fluency in it. And I hope it's lit you up nice. Okay, bye.